rights and dignity ended with the tragic death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Tonight, on the anniversary of Dr. King's death, we are here to tell our elected officials that human rights, that workers' rights are human rights. I'll say it again, workers' rights are human rights. 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 And they will never be destroyed. It gives me pleasure to introduce our host for the rally this evening, someone who will tell corporate America and our elected officials that the fight for workers' rights will never stop, that we will stand, we will not be silent. Again, we will stand, we will not be silent. It is a pleasure that I introduce someone who will show us the way. He's no stranger. He is a union leader that we all know and are extremely proud of. Chris Shelton, Vice President, CWA District 1. Give it up for Chris. Give it up for Chris.
Thank you, John. Good evening, brothers and sisters. Come on, I can't hear you. Good evening, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, I've been asked probably 40 times since we decided to do this why we're doing it on April 4th. Well, the reason we're doing it on April 4th is because 43 years ago, a great man, a great civil rights leader, a great labor leader died, was shot by some bigot. So brothers and sisters, there could be no better night to do this than on the night that Brother Martin Luther King was shot by a bigot in Memphis. So that's why, brothers and sisters, we're here tonight. That's why April 4th is the day that we've decided to start the war in America. Are you with me? Are you ready to go to war? Well, brothers and sisters, Brother Martin Luther King was in Memphis to make sure that 1,300 people who had signs that said, "I am a man," and they had to have those signs because they were being treated like animals. So they were men, we are women, we are men, we are union men, we are union women. To this day, Brother Martin Luther King's legacy lives, brothers and sisters. We are one, that's right. We are one. 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 So that day, brothers and sisters, 43 years ago in Memphis, Tennessee, when Martin Luther King was doing what he did every day, standing up for other people who couldn't stand up for themselves. And that's why he was a labor leader. Martin Luther King was a labor leader just like anybody in this crowd or anybody up here. He was just as much a labor leader as he was a civil rights leader. And he understood better than any other civil rights leader that workers' rights were civil rights, were human rights, and we all have to stand up for workers' rights and civil rights. Martin Luther King knew better. He said that he could integrate a lunch counter, but it didn't matter as long as there was no economic justice. And the only way that his people would get economic justice was to form and join unions and fight the bosses so that they could afford the food at those integrated lunch counters. So we're all here today thanks to Martin Luther King and people like him. And we can all of us, black, white, whatever, afford the food at those lunch counters because of people who died for us in the past. So brothers and sisters, now I really want to hear you. We are one.
We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one.
Brothers and sisters, just 4 years before he died, Martin Luther King went to the AFL-CIO convention, and he went there because he knew that the only way that he could win, the only way that his people could beat the people that were holding them back was to become union members. And just look at how many people have become union members since then. But also, brothers and sisters, some of you may say, Martin Luther King died for nothing. Well, I can tell you there were 1,300 people in Memphis, Tennessee who will tell you that's just nonsense. Martin Luther King died because 1,300 people wanted to be in a union. 1,300 people wanted to bargain collectively with their boss, the mayor of Memphis, Tennessee. And that mayor said, it will never happen. It will never happen. And those 1,300 brothers and sisters said, it will happen. It will happen. And then Martin Luther King came to Memphis and he said, it will happen. We will win. We will win. And they did win, brothers and sisters. They won, and they are union to this day. So if anybody asks you why April 4th, April 4th is the day that some bigot shot Martin Luther King down. The day that he gave up his life for those 1,300 union members, and for all union members, and for all people that need civil rights, for all people that need workers' rights, for all people that need human rights. And that's why Martin Luther King was shot down. Not because he was black or white or purple. He was shot down because he knew that we are one and that we have to stick together. And if we don't, we cannot win. But we are here tonight to proclaim to everybody, not only are union people one, not only private sector people, not only public sector, workers of every stripe, no matter whether they have a union card or not, have to rise up in this country to make sure that the politicians, those pigs who caused Wisconsin, understand we will not lose. We will not lose. We will not lose. So brothers and sisters, I'm going to shut up for now. I could probably go on all night, but there's some other people who want to speak. I'm going to speak at the end, and now I'm going to get probably a little crazier than now. But so